Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're exploring a topic that's often, wrapped in a lot of secrecy and misunderstanding. Cross-dressing. For many people, hearing the word cross-dressing, well, it immediately brings up these very specific images, right?
Right.
Maybe like a secret act, something done only in the bedroom, perhaps even linked to fetish or kink.
Yeah, that's the common narrative.
But what if that very narrow view totally misses the richer, deeper reasons why, well, countless individuals choose to cross-dress?
And that's exactly what we want to get into with this deep dive. That's our mission here.
Okay.
We're trying to cut through those pervasive stereotypes.
Yeah.
We want to reveal cross-dressing not as some kind of anomaly, but as a profound and often just an everyday experience for many people.
Right.
What our research kept showing again and again is that this widespread myth, the idea that cross-dressing is inherently or mainly sexual, it just doesn't hold up for the vast majority.
That's a really vital distinction to make right at the start, and it immediately broadens the whole conversation, doesn't it? Beyond those narrow, often, frankly, misleading stereotypes we've all probably encountered.
Absolutely.
We're all kind of familiar with how, for decades really, the mainstream story has framed cross-dressing almost purely through a sexual lens. It's the kind of thing you see in movies, on TV, presenting it as a fetish, maybe a secret indulgence, or sometimes even something deviant.
Yeah, those tropes are powerful.
And those portrayals, they've created some incredibly persistent stereotypes. The idea that cross-dressers are just exploring sexual fantasies, or that it's inherently linked to something taboo.
Or shameful.
Or shameful, yeah, something done only behind closed doors. Now look, while those aspects might be true for some people...
And that's important to acknowledge.
Right. But the material we looked at makes it really clear that this paints a severely limited picture. Often inaccurate, actually, for many others.
And that's precisely why diving deeper, challenging these ingrained stereotypes is just so important.
Yeah.
When we talk about understanding complex human experiences, well, moving beyond those easy assumptions to get to genuine insight, it's crucial, especially for topics like this that are so frequently mischaracterized.
Okay, so if it's not just about sex or fantasy for so many, what is it about then? What really stood out for you in our research?
Well, a key theme that kept coming up was cross-dressing as a genuine expression of identity.
Identity.
Yeah, a way to align how someone looks on the outside with an internal sense of self, often unrelated to sex or fantasy at all.
Right. How does that work? Can you unpack that a bit?
Sure. It's absolutely crucial here to distinguish between gender expression and gender identity. They're different things.
Okay.
Cross-dressing is a form of gender expression. That means, how someone presents themselves, clothing, hairstyle, makeup, maybe mannerisms. And this can be wonderfully fluid and diverse.
So expression is the outward part.
Exactly. But it doesn't necessarily mean that someone's internal gender identity, their core sense of self as male, female, non-binary, whatever, differs from the sex they were assigned at birth.
Ah, I see.
So, for instance, many men who cross-dress identify fully as men. They have no desire to transition. They don't want to live as women full-time.
Right.
For them, cross-dressing is more about exploring, maybe enjoying different facets of their personality. It's about feeling more complete or just more comfortable in their own skin.
And that idea, that comfort and authenticity, that's fascinating.
It is.
Our material really emphasized that for some people, wearing clothing that's traditionally associated with another gender, it brings this profound sense of relief, comfort even.
Yeah, like a weight lifted.
Exactly. It can simply feel more natural, maybe soothing or even empowering compared to rigidly sticking to societal expectations. And this comfort, crucially, isn't described as a sexual thrill. It's framed as a deeply personal, emotional experience.
Right.
Think about the analogy of just choosing clothes that fit your body shape better, or clothes that express your unique personal style more accurately.
That's a great analogy.
For many cross-dressers, it seems these choices are about feeling entirely at home in who they are. It's not necessarily about sexual gratification.
That analogy really does perfectly illustrate the deeply personal, often non-sexual nature of this experience for so many individuals.
So another common misconception we should probably tackle is the idea that cross-dressing is only done in private. behind closed doors.
Right, the secrecy aspect again.
Yeah, but we found that actually many cross-dressers embrace expressing themselves in public. They prefer it,
Mhm.
whether that's at work or social events or just, running errands. And this choice, it often represents a really significant, courageous step towards living openly, authentically.
Absolutely. But, of course, choosing to cross-dress publicly, well, it can be incredibly challenging. Let's be real about that.
Sure. What are the challenges?
Well, societal judgment is a big one. Fear of discrimination, definitely. And unfortunately, genuine safety concerns are still very real obstacles for many people.
That makes sense.
Yet for many, the desire, the need to live authentically, it simply outweighs those challenges. And the range of public expression varies hugely, too.
Oh, so?
It could be subtle choices, maybe certain accessories, a touch of makeup, or it could be a full feminine presentation. Everyone's journey is unique.
Right.
And what often happens is that confidence grows. The more someone embraces public expression, often the more confident they become in it.
And another really vital way cross-dressers seem to be moving beyond that singular narrative of just fetish or fantasy
Yeah.
is by building community.
Yes, community is huge.
Participating in genuinely supportive communities. Our dive into the material highlighted loads of examples, social groups, online forums, local meetups. These allow cross-dressers to connect beyond just sexual themes. The focus shifts to identity, fashion, self-expression, sharing those experiences.
Exactly. It's about shared experiences of personal growth, finding acceptance, overcoming stigma. And these communities really help shift the narrative, don't they? From this idea of secret sexual acts to, well, proud lifestyle choices for many.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's clear, too, that cross-dressing is often deeply intertwined with mental and emotional well-being.
How so?
For some people, it genuinely serves as a coping mechanism or even a therapeutic outlet. It can provide a sense of balance or relief from societal pressures.
That connection to mental well-being is incredibly powerful, isn't it?
It really is.
From the sources, were there specific insights or examples that illustrated how cross-dressing acts like that as a coping mechanism or therapeutic outlet?
Yeah, our exploration definitely brought out several key benefits. First, there's this idea of affirmation and self-acceptance.
Okay.
Just expressing oneself through clothing, it can profoundly affirm an individual's sense of self. For many, cross-dressing becomes almost like a daily ritual, a ritual of self-love, of acceptance. It's a way of affirming, I deserve to be seen and valued as I truly am.
Wow. Okay. What else?
Second, it can contribute to reducing dysphoria and anxiety. Now, it's important to say cross-dressing is distinct from being transgender.
Right.
But some individuals do find that it helps alleviate gender dysphoria, that distress caused by a mismatch between assigned gender and identity. For others, maybe it's not dysphoria, but the act of dressing differently simply helps reduce general anxiety or depression. It gives them a powerful sense of control, maybe creativity. And finally, it provides a really crucial avenue for exploring identity safely. Cross-dressing can offer a genuinely safe space for exploration, especially if someone is questioning their gender or just experimenting with self-expression.
And that exploration isn't necessarily sexual.
Exactly. That's key. It often isn't sexual at all. It's more about understanding and embracing these complex, multifaceted identities we all have.
Something that really surprised me in the research was finding out just how recent and how Western-centric this view of cross-dressing as purely sexual or taboo actually is.
Right. It's not the historical norm at all.
It seems far from universal or historically consistent.
Absolutely not. And what's fascinating here is when you look at the historical and cultural context, it's incredibly broad.
Like what?
Well, in many indigenous cultures, for instance, cross-dressing has been an integral part of spiritual practices. It wasn't seen as deviant. It was often revered.
Wow.
And throughout history, look at its uses as a form of protest sometimes, a means of survival in certain situations, or just powerful artistic expression.
Okay, like theater.
Exactly. Think about theater traditions. Shakespeare's plays, men traditionally played all the roles, including women. Japanese kabuki theater has embraced cross-dressing as an essential artistic tool for centuries, completely separate from sexual connotations.
Right.
Recognizing this broad historical and cultural context, it really helps us dismantle that limited modern stereotype, doesn't it? It highlights that cross-dressing has always been a multifaceted human practice.
So, given all that, how do we actually go about changing the narrative? How do we move beyond just the fetish stereotype into a more nuanced understanding?
That's the big question.
The material we looked at offered several key suggestions. First, and this seems critical, language matters.
Hugely.
We need to use language that affirms identity rather than reducing cross-dressing to just fetish or kink.
Right. Avoid framing it only as sexual or as somehow deceitful.
Exactly. Instead, emphasize the personal stories, the motivations beyond the sexual. Second, there's a real need for visibility and representation.
More stories out there.
Yeah. Greater visibility helps normalize diverse expressions of gender, sharing stories that focus on identity, comfort, community, instead of just fetishism that broadens public understanding.
Makes sense.
Third, education and awareness seem key. Educational efforts, whether it's through media, workshops, literature, they can inform people about the varied reasons people cross-dress and really effectively debunk those persistent myths.
Yeah. Tackling the misinformation head on.
And finally, safe spaces for expression. Encouraging environments where cross-dressers can present publicly without fear of judgment or harm. That fosters empowerment, acceptance.
And that naturally leads us to a really important nuance, which is the intersection with sexuality itself. Because it's often not simple, is it?
No, it sounds like it.
While our deep dive strongly challenges the stereotype that all cross-dressing is sexual.
Which we've established.
Right. It's equally important to acknowledge that, well, sexuality and gender expression are intertwined in complex ways for some individuals.
Okay.
What's fascinating here is that, yes, some people do find sexual pleasure or kink in cross-dressing, and that's absolutely valid. Their experience is real, too.
Right. It's part of the spectrum.
Exactly. Others might find that cross-dressing actually enhances intimacy within their partnerships. It can be a shared experience.
Okay.
The crucial takeaway, though, is that for many, sexuality and gender expression can coexist powerfully without one defining or overshadowing the other. Understanding this complexity, it just enriches the entire conversation and helps us avoid harmful oversimplification.
Okay. So what does all this mean when we hear it directly from people living it? We saw some anonymized excerpts, didn't we, from cross-dressers themselves.
Yes, some powerful quotes.
Illustrating how their personal experiences really do go far beyond any single narrow definition, like this one person shared. For me, cross-dressing is about feeling complete. It's like a part of me has been waiting to be expressed. It's not about sex. It's about having another part of who I am really seen.
That's profound. Feeling complete. Another one I remember was, I love dressing in women's clothes when I'm out with friends or even at work sometimes. It gives me confidence and I feel more myself. It's not a secret thrill. It's just me.
It's just me. That's powerful too. And a third voice offered this. Cross-dressing helped me accept myself during a difficult time. It was a lifeline when I felt trapped in expectations that didn't fit me.
A lifeline. Yeah. These voices, they just powerfully remind us of the incredible diversity, the deeply personal nature of cross-dressing. They really underscore that for so many, it's a vital journey, a journey of self-discovery and really a path to profound authenticity.
Cross-dressing is clearly far more than just a fetish or a sexual fantasy. For so many, it's an essential part of their identity, a profound source of comfort and a path to living authentically.
Yeah, you know, this raises an important question for all of us to think about. If true authenticity really means defining ourselves rather than being defined by other people's expectations, how many other aspects of human experience are we maybe quick to mislabel or dismiss based on stereotypes?
That's a really good question.
And what incredible parts of ourselves might we be waiting to express, you know, just by embracing a little more courage, perhaps?
Something to reflect on.
Definitely. And as our source material leaves us with this really powerful affirmation, if you're on your own journey with cross-dressing, remember this. Your reasons are valid.
That's important.
Whether it's for comfort, identity, fashion, or, yes, sometimes for sex, you deserve respect and acceptance. Cross-dressing is yours to define.